Hello students, welcome back to my channel. So we are learning the chapter 6. So in the previous session, we have already seen what is the different characteristic of a object-oriented programming, what is a object-oriented programming exactly means. So we had seen every concept of them in detail, one by one. In today's session, we are going to see what are the advantages, what are the limitations, and what are the application of that. Okay, so with this, we are going to end chapter 6. Right, so let us go ahead and see what are the advantages of the object-oriented programming over earlier programming methods. Now, when I say earlier programming methods, it is obviously means the procedural programming. In procedural programming, we were not using the concept of classes and objects. So what is the advantage of object-oriented programming over them? The very first one is the programs are modularized based on the principle of classes and objects, which we had seen in the previous session also. I had explained. So this modularization is nothing but breaking a bigger problem into a smaller problem, and those smaller module we are independently developing, and how it helps us in developing other applications also. So we had seen that in the previous session. So the programs are modularized based on the principles of classes and objects. So that is the main advantages. Okay. The linking code and object allows related object to share common code. Okay. So if you're creating 10 to 15 objects, then also we can use the same function using those objects. So we can share the common code when it comes to object-oriented programming. This reduces code duplication and code reusability. So if it was in a procedural programming, every time we are doing certain actions, certain calculations, if I am performing, for example, if I have my main here, and in the procedural, we have to just declare a variable, and then we have to have a function. There was no concept of function in that, but directly we were writing the code step by step, one by one we would write the function. Initially, if we are doing a certain calculation for sum, again after some cout statements, we have to again do a calculation. If at all we are calculating once again, then we have to do the sum once again. We cannot go back and use the previous set of codes. But when it comes to object-oriented programming, it makes our life easy. Once you write a code for sum, if at all you have written a method for sum, then you don't have to write it again and again. If I have a function called as sum, all I need to do is, suppose I have sum also, then I'll have a subtraction. I have a subtraction function, and if at all in the procedure I have to call sum function and subtract function 2 times, then all I need to do is create a object. Suppose this is a class object1, this is the name of the class, and object1, object2 I am creating. Using these object, all I need to do is object.sum I have to call. Suppose I want to call this function once again for object2 also, then again I need to just write this code, that is using the object name I have to call that particular function. That's all I need to do. I don't have to write the entire code. This entire code I don't have to write. So that is a very big advantage here. Okay, so linking the code and objects allows related object to share common code. This reduces code duplication and code reusability happens here. Right. Now, data is encapsulated along with function. Therefore, external non-member function cannot access or modify data, thus providing data security. Okay, this also we had discussed in data encapsulation. Since data and member are being encapsulated in one object, so we have data here and we have member function here. Only the member function can access the data. So the external entity or functions cannot access these data. Hence, we are being given a data security. Easier to develop complex software because complexity can be minimized through inheritance. Once again, we are using the concept of inheritance. So we don't have to write 100 codes again and again. If at all there is some code which has been used here, and again, if you want to use it in the class, all you have to do the inheritance. You do the inheritance, and through inheritance, this particular class can access the functions of the base class, right? So we can develop complex software using the object-oriented programming. What are the other advantages? The concept of data abstraction separates object specification and object implementation. Okay, with the data abstraction, like we discussed in the last session, we are not going to show all the details, but we are going to show only which is required, right? Now, creation and implementation of object-oriented programming code is easy and reduces software development time. That is mainly because this is modularized and we have the concept of reusability of the code, right? Next, object-oriented programming can communicate through message passing, which makes interface description with outside system very simple, right? We can use the message passing concept and it helps us with the interface description with the outside system very simple. So these are the main applications. So this is a very important question. You might get this question for 3 to 5 marks, right? So you need to know what are the applications of object-oriented programming. Next, if at all there is advantage, of course, there is going to be limitations also. So what are those limitations? Object-oriented software, object-oriented programming software is not having set standards. So since we do not have a set standard, this is a limitation. Okay, the adaptability of flow diagrams and object-oriented programming using classes is a complex process. Now, what do you mean by flow diagram? When we have a flow chart, we know that a particular calculation is starting from somewhere, and after that there is a condition, and after the condition where we are going to move, something like this we know in a flow chart. So we can know the flow of a program. But when it comes to object-oriented programming, what do we have? We have a class declaration. In that we have data, right? Then we have functions. And under that we have, then we have our main, right? In the main, we are going to create the objects. And then using the object, we are going to call certain functions. Isn't it? Now, how does the control move here? First, the control will be in the main. Then when it comes to object, we are encountering certain functions. So as soon as the function is encountered, the control comes over here. So once the execution of the function happens, again, the control is going to move over here. So there is no proper flow of a control which happens, for which we can draw a flow diagram, right? So that is one of the another limitation. Next, to convert a real world problem into object oriented model is difficult. Okay, so every real world problem cannot be broken into classes and objects. Now the classes are overly generalized, as in the classes we have to have data members and functions. They are overly generalized. It is sometimes not possible to use such type of a concept. So these are the main 4 limitations of a object oriented programming. Right. Next, let us see what are the applications, as in where we use this object-oriented programming concept. So computer graphic application uses object-oriented programming. So now when I say object-oriented programming, though we are learning C++, this need not be only about C++. We have even Java is also object-oriented programming, and we have lot many other languages, right? So this application is of all of them, mainly whichever follows the object-oriented programming concept, right? So we use it in graphic computer application, and then we use it in CAD CAM software also. Object-oriented databases, if a certain databases are using object-oriented programming concept, then we use them there also. User interface design such as Windows, real-time system. So when I say real-time system, it can be like your live programming, live things happening like your stock market, stuff like that. So such real-time systems also use object-oriented programming concept. Stimulation and modeling, artificial intelligence and expert system also use the concept of object-oriented programming, right? So these are the things which we learn in this particular chapter, students. So this is the end of this particular chapter. Very easy, very simple. The main thing what you need to know is very important is the concept. Okay, the concept which we learned in the previous session, that is very important concept, or they might ask it as a characteristic. Then the applications, limitations is very rarely asked, but you should know. And also advantages are very important. Advantages of using object-oriented programming, right? I hope this particular lecture has been helpful in your preparation. Right? Thank you for watching, students. Take care.